For nearly 2 decades, a single Boeing 747 carried the future of aviation beneath its wings, a one-of-a-kind flying laboratory that tested tomorrow's engines today. Now that the aircraft, the Rolls-Royce iconic N787RR, has made its final flight, and with its retirement, an incredible air and jet engine technology comes to an end. Our story starts back in 1980. This 747-200 first rolled off the line for Cathay Pacific Airways, flying passengers across the Pacific under the registration VR-1HIA. After decades of service, it changed hands several times, until in 2005, Rolls-Royce acquired the jet and gave it a second life. It was reborn as N787RR, a state-of-the-art engine testbed, a flying workshop where engineers could bolt on new engines, monitor them in flight, and push them to their limits in real-world conditions. Inside, the cabin was stripped of its seats and filled with racks of computers, engineers' consoles, and a maze of wiring and sensors. Outside, one of its engine pylons was completely rebuilt to carry a fifth engine, the experimental power plant being tested. That unique 5-engine configuration made N787RR one of the most unusual aircraft in the sky. The 747 was the perfect choice. 4 engines meant safety and redundancy. Even if the test engine failed mid-flight, the aircraft could still return safely on the other 3. That made it the ideal platform for testing new designs like the Trent 1000, the Pearl series, and the early concepts for the Rolls-Royce UltraFan. To pilots and engineers, the N787RR was more than a testbed. It was a trusted companion, a flying partner that carried the company's most advanced ideas to the edge of the sky. Over its 18 years of service, N787RR helped validate nearly every major Rolls-Royce engine program of the 21st century. In 2023, the aircraft made headlines when it flew a Trent 1000 engine powered entirely by Sustainable Aviation Fuel, known as SAF. For nearly 4 hours, it cruised over the American Southwest at 43,000 feet, proving that the modern jet engine could operate flawlessly on 100% renewable fuel. That flight was a historical step toward carbon-neutral aviation, and N787RR was at the heart of it. Then came the Pearl 10X program, a next-generation business jet engine built for the Dassault Falcon 10X. In 2024, the 747 took to the skies again, carrying the Pearl 10X through high-altitude and high-speed trials. Engineers evaluated everything: vibration, relight performance, fuel burn, and anti-icing, and more. By the end of that campaign, Rolls-Royce declared that the Pearl 10X fully ready for certification, and much of that confidence came from the data gathered aboard N787RR. Throughout its career, the aircraft supported countless smaller tests, from fuel systems to acoustic research, hybrid electric experiments, and even aerodynamic modeling for the future UltraFan components. But even the legends have their limits. The 747-200 is now over 4 decades old, and maintenance has become increasingly complex and costly. Every flight required extensive pre-checks, unique spare parts, and specialized crews to keep this vintage giant airworthy. By 2025, Rolls-Royce made the difficult decision to retire N787RR, not because it failed, but because it had already accomplished everything it was built to do. There were plans to replace it with a newer 747-400 testbed registered N747RR, but those plans were shelved during the COVID-19 pandemic. Instead, Rolls-Royce is moving in its next generation of testing to ground-based rigs and digital flight simulators, where virtual conditions can replicate real-world stress more efficiently and safely. Still, nothing replaces the feeling or the data of a true flight test, and that's what made N787 so valuable. From the Trent family that powers Dreamliners and A350s, to the Pearl engines that drive the world's most advanced business jets, to the upcoming UltraFan, the largest and most efficient jet engine Rolls-Royce has ever built, all of them owe a part of their success to N787RR. This 747 was just an aircraft. It was a bridge between generations of propulsion technology, a flying classroom where ideas took shape, where engineers learned that what worked and what didn't before any commercial passenger ever stepped on board. As N787RR powers down for the last time, it leaves behind a legacy of innovation and trust. Thousands of flight hours, dozens of engines tested, and untold lessons written in the data streams that shape the future of aviation. From its base in Tucson, Arizona, this aircraft watched over the evolution of jet propulsion, from fuel to flight to sustainability. And though it will no longer soar through the desert sky, its spirit lives on in every Rolls-Royce engine flying today. Because long after the engines are certified, long after the prototypes are retired, the story of N787RR reminds us of what aviation is really about: pushing boundaries, testing dreams, and reaching for what's next.